that. It was probably the beginning of February that I actually heard from a group of people who listen to Paul Selig say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that's only just 6 weeks away. It's going to be powerful." And I was like, what's going to be powerful? And what are they talking about? And what is going on? And what is all this conversation? And so, I finally had the answer that even Paul Selig's guides, the guides, Melchizedek, were talking about the pressure cooker that we have been in and how transformational it was going to be once we got to the spring equinox. So here we are. Wednesday is the new moon, and it's the new moon of victorious intuition. There's a new frequency coming to the planet on Wednesday. Actually, downloads have started coming in. If you are somebody who's like really kind of feeling the energies, or maybe you're feeling a little anxious, or you just got some stuff going on, feel free to put it in the chat because we will definitely work on it tonight. But yeah, the new moon is Wednesday night, and then the equinox is on Friday, and then there's just a whole host of things going on for the next few weeks. It's springtime, so there's always lots of opportunities to clear stuff out, to heal things. And it's one of the reasons why I love, love, love that we are doing Divine Union in day 3. It is just amazing. So let's get on with it for sure. The very first thing that the guides say on day 3 is, when we witness you, when we see you as you are, we comprehend 2 things. Not only the idea you hold of yourself, but the idea that has never been participatory to your practical lives. And the idea is, I am one with Source. It is the very thing that we most struggle with. And it's a giant we, like nearly everybody on the planet is included in that we. And, they say that there are several reasons for this, that the idea of being in union holds a bias and a belief that we're going to disappear. It's not true, and we're all getting healings on that. You can ask, where do you hold a bias or a judgment about being in union? Where do you have those ideas that you have held onto so tightly for whatever reason? You could have the best reason in the world why you have been holding on tightly to the idea that you can't be in union. It could be based in worthiness. It could be based in fear. It could be based in pain. There can be lots of things that are going on with why that is showing up. And the important thing is that we're going to keep working on those places, because of course it's not just one thing. It's not like this is the only thing that you have going on, and when we heal this, poof, everything is going to be hunky-dory and just all kinds of happy. You got a lot going on. We're healing this stuff. So where do you hold a bias about union? Where do you have a judgment about being one with Source? Mine is right here in my third eye. I also have it in my sternum. And so there are healings available wherever it shows up, whatever it looks like. One of the things we want to remind ourselves regularly is that these are the things that are being healed. These are the things that are getting us stuck and making us think that we're not doing it, that it's just not working out for us. So totally not true. Terry, frontal lobe and sternum, and Jill says sternum and third eye for her as well. So yeah, we're going to work on all of those things because Lord knows. Lord knows. So one of the things I love about these later books is that they use a lot of the frequencies that we are regularly talking about. If you are in any of the healing alchemy classes, whichever one, you're hearing these frequencies regularly. And so it's beautiful that you're like, look, here they are in the book. And right at the end of the very first paragraph, it says, in other words, friends, you are returning home, moving to a state of restoration beyond the bias and the labeling and the ideas of what has been. So lots of restoration coming in for all of us. Gifting, gifting, gifting. And Jill says third eye, and Tricia says cervical neck and top of her head. And Becky, let's take a look. Where are you holding the biggest bias? Your biggest bias is in your sternum as well. Your sternum just lights up. And it's totally okay if you are somebody who's like, I have no idea. I still have lots of times where I'm like, I have no idea. And, I'm going, is it this or is it that? And usually I can peg it down to two different things. But there are times I'm just like, I don't know. What you got? I don't know. Somebody tell me. So totally fine. One of the reasons why we have so much of that happening for us is because it's layers, right? It's not just that you have judgment there, but you have fear there and pain and unconsciousness. It's like a little low frequency lasagna. So totally fine. Janelyn says sternum. And in general, you could point to almost any place in your body and you would have some judgment, some fear, some pain, some anger. I can still do that. There are still loads and loads of places after 10 years of me doing a lot of healing where I still have stuff. There's very little. Every once in a while I joke, but not on the tip of my nose. And every once in a while my higher self is like, yep, there too. So we just keep trusting it. Yeah, low frequency lasagna. I haven't used that one in a little while, but it is very, very true. And Jill says, you've had a headache for many days, many days. Yes, that is that bang that we are experiencing, and I'm happy to help you with that. As the frequency of the planet goes up, there are lots of times that our body goes into resistance. I mean, you're probably like me. You have probably experienced just a few times when you've been like, oh no, I don't want to do this. I'm not going there. I don't want to experience this. And that's kind of the resistance that shows up. And I can remember even up to a year ago or so, I'd be like, what do I have to do to let go of this? What do I have to do to release it? For God's sakes, I'm willing to let it go. And I just felt like I was never actually releasing what was going on. And I'll tell you what happened was there was just a moment where it all switched for me, that I said, oh, I'm going to trust that it is releasing and focus on that concept instead of the concept that it's not releasing. So it was just a thought process, like I'm going to stop thinking this way and I'm going to start thinking that way. And it's a little easier. It doesn't always happen. I really try to give myself a lot more grace when it doesn't, but yeah. Channeling back and joint pain. Join the back and joint pain parade. There has been a lot of that. A lot. Yeah, of course, Terry, we've all said those things, right? If I could just. Yes. All right. Down to, look, I just want to point this out to you. You guys might not appreciate this. This is the only book I have never written in. I went to go write in it like I've written in all the other books, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. And so I actually printed out the pages and sort of entertained myself as I was underlining and writing notes on it and stuff like that. And I'm like, I hope he doesn't always put things out in hardbound books, because oh my gosh, I mean, do I have a lot of writing in this one? Not a lot of writing in this one. Yeah, not a lot of writing. Almost looks like I haven't read that. Anyway, here's my notes. I talked about this on Facebook and on the WhatsApp group. If you're interested in either one of those, if one works better for you, let me know. I'm happy to give you the links for those. But the second paragraph made me do a little happy skippy dance. That place where it says, while you may know yourself in a world, the world has been altered through your presence and being. So what was important, what carried weight, no longer carries that weight, because the one who witnesses is the one who knows. And what she knows exists beyond the codification of linearity, narratives imposed on events. Sometimes when they start talking, I go, ugh. The world has been altered by your presence and your being. It's really, really important that we give ourselves healings on the worthiness where anyone says, not my presence and being, I'm not making a difference, because you absolutely are. Absolutely 100% making a difference. And if you didn't think you were making a difference, you could take a moment and ask somebody who loves you, what their life would be like if you weren't there. Dramatically different. So healings and worthiness, lots of resurrection frequency coming in. If you've taken master, resurrection frequency is that worthiness frequency, the 12th level of worthiness frequency, and it's just coming into all of our bodies. So Becky says she's been more anxious and tired. Oh my God, yes, right. I have spent a lot of time being like, I feel like I'm carrying my butt around, and just every once in a while catching myself like, oh, there it is again. There's some more fear. Holy cow. And whenever I start looking around for like what it is, I'm really trying to catch myself a little bit more to be like, oh wait, oh yeah, that's me looking for what it is, and it's just the fear. It is just so amped up. All right, crazy. Oh, so we're going to, while we're sitting here chatting about this text, you're getting healings where there's unconsciousness. And back to the low frequency lasagna, there's a lot of unconsciousness in our bodies. It's what we have been programmed to do. Now, lots of social media is blamed, lots of things out in the world, but it is really as simple as by virtue of being born here on the planet, you have agreed to go unconscious to a ton of control energies. And that's some of what we are moving more of now. That unconsciousness, unconscious to whatever the pain, fear, anger, unworthiness, the control energies there are. And so when you stop being so unconscious, you start seeing stuff. You have more awareness of it. So you have to give yourself a break on what you are now aware of, right? Because that awareness is coming so you can be like, oh, look at what is transforming. Look at what is changing. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's really the reminder of here's what's healing, here's what's moving next, here's what's moving out, not anything else but that. Okay? You're seeing what is being transformed. So when you're feeling anxious, if you can catch yourself, you can go, oh, that's fear. Anxiety is fear, right? And if you find yourself really tired and you're yawning and you're just like it's so hard for you to get moving, you go, oh, this must be some more of those energies that are really dense, that make me feel like I'm carrying, a whole bunch of heavy backpacks. Oh, that's why I'm feeling tired. And your higher self sometimes is like, yo, you're going down. And that just means we need to rest and recover and love on ourselves just so we can keep moving forward. So big healings on all of that. Let's see, actually in the book, it is, now the denial of the divine. At the bottom of page 46, one of the things they talk about is the process of unlearning that we are going through. But the learning that is being undone is less so the learning of the intellect, but the accrued information that you have absorbed or been party to, both knowingly and unknowingly. The agreement of what should be. You walk into a room, everyone is speaking one language. You assume you are in a place where everybody speaks another language and you attempt to learn it. That is in some ways what happens when you incarnate on this plane. Everybody is afraid, everybody is acting in fear, everybody is choosing things in competition with the ones beside them. This is the language I see, and I learn to speak that language. To be restored to the basis of your being, which is the articulation of the divine come in individuated ways, and then responsible for its expression at a higher level of tone, simply means you know who you are beyond the old conversation, the old rubric, or the old system. That's what we're doing. We were born on a planet where they use the example, everybody is speaking the same language, the language that you grew up speaking, not talking about English or Spanish or French or anything else. We're talking about the language of fear. You and I, everybody grew up speaking that language of fear. And sometimes it looked like everybody being afraid, everybody thinking somebody's out to get them, everyone having lots of competition energy. It looks like a lot of things. But that's what we were born into. So that's being transformed, a big healing for all of us, because they say it was useful. And we still fall into it quite often as we are transforming what has kept us there, right? As we are transforming the control energies and the fear and the pain, as we move more of those things, we start to go, oh, okay, I understand what this is. And we start to realize that we are all of us here are in a new agreement to a higher frequency. That's basically what they're talking about when they're talking about the book, a good book, a horrible book. Like, it's just an idea. The word book is just an idea, and that is what everything is here on the planet. It's simply an idea. And an idea can be changed. I have an idea. I think tomorrow I am going to go out to a big fancy lunch. Well, I could. It would take a lot of changing of my schedules, but it's just an idea that I could go out to a big fancy lunch. I could just as easily have the idea that I am going to instead decide to go back to bed at noon and take a nap. It's just an idea. And the place we want to get to is where we go, oh, it's an idea, and that one is going to stay. Oh, it's an idea, and that one is going to go. And it being nothing more than that, just an idea. It's only idea. So, been getting healings for all of us on the unconsciousness, on the fear, on the competition energy, and even on the separation. So, take a moment, for the heck of it, ask where you have some competition energy that you are ready to transform. Competition energy. Wow. Mine shows up in my throat and in my brainstem. I would have been like, I don't have any competition energy. And my higher self just goes, Jill says third eye, and Janelyn says her frontal lobe. Absolutely. Great places. And competition energy is like built into who we are. It is, it's part of a lot of control energies. There's just a lot of it broadcast, and there's no judgment about having any of these low frequencies because we pick them up in service. We pick them up by virtue of being here on the planet. It's not like any of us are walking around, picking them up so we can spit them back out to other people. It's just what we do. So yeah, no, nothing but healings and lots of love on that subject. Terry says throat and frontal lobe. Yep. And Jill says sternum. Absolutely, man. There's just, once again, a lot of us could point to a lot of different places. As you all were looking at that, I was like, okay, show me the weirdest place that I have some competition energy. And it shows up behind my left ear. I know. And now I'm getting the arch of my right foot. You can have it anywhere because what it is an energy that gets picked up and stored in a place in your body with no rhyme or reason. It's not like, oh, competition energy all has to go in your throat because you speak your competition. That could be true. And the competition energy could go anywhere else in your body because it doesn't need to be in your throat to be spoken. Ah, yes. Lots of gifts, gift, all those areas. that competition energy. And we're not talking about, competition energy. It's the, I think it starts this weekend, the NCAA tournaments. I know nothing about a lot of the college basketball, men's or women's, but I love to do the brackets. And I actually did my bracket probably about an hour ago, and you can do up to 25 of them. So the first one I did, I actually checked in with each one of the teams to pick which one I was going to choose. And it's just kind of a fun way to like be in my knowing, because I'm not attached to winning or not winning. And then the second one I did, I went through and I chose only the person who was seated higher, so they had a better record or whatever. And I almost got down to the same team. So all that to say, competition energy, we're not talking about that kind of competition energy. We're talking about the energies that we run that tell us, we have to be the best at things over everybody else. And it's based in fear, right? Not good, clean competition, playing games and stuff, but the stuff that's based in fear. Okay. The downside to having it printed is that you don't know where things are. Okay, on page 47, we talk about the invocation. And invocation is a blessing, and blessings are amazing. Every time any one of you says the word blessing, it is gold and silver sparks with like aquamarine that comes out of your mouth, and it is always a healing. And so they talk about invocations, and that invocations are words, right? And then there's velocity and sound and frequency that is attached to them. And they talk about the fact that these books are all filled with healing alchemy. And they talk about they're in a chord, A-C-C-O-R-D, A-C-H-O-R-D, like on the keys of a piano. They say the same thing all the time. But the important part for us is down at the bottom of page 47. It says, you don't effort alignment. You don't have to effort it. When you are in alignment, it's just what you do. And we can see that with everything that happens in our life, because we are actually in alignment with everything that has ever happened in our life. How do they say it? High, low, and in between. Whether it was a high choice or it was a low choice or it was somewhere in between, we are in alignment to it because that's what we chose. So it's just a reminder for us that you don't have to work hard at this stuff. Your higher self is on the healing part. Your divine self is on the healing part, and your job as a person in a body is to just keep reminding yourself, this is all transforming, this is all changing. I am going up in frequency right along with everyone else. I'm not being left behind. Whatever it is that happens to show up, I don't have to prove my worth. I am already enough. So let's see, the tone. So one of the things we are doing is being the tone, being the music. So I would like to ask you, where do you have a block to hearing your own tone? Where do you have a block to hearing your own tone? Your own tone. I could also say, where do you have a block to knowing who you are? I think you all can see the chat. And if you can, Janelyn, I just want you to know that you have been replaced by Trisha. Look what growth will do for you. Trisha, what I mean by that is Janelyn was always going, it's everywhere. Oh my God, everything. And now Janelyn says, it's her third eye. Because what happens is for a long while, we're really triggered and you can't tell. Becky, this is, for you, right? You can't tell because there's so much stuff there. And how do you tell the difference between where it is? And sometimes I have sat in healing alchemy classes and I feel like I'm constantly saying the same place. Throat, 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 throat. And then I find myself going, is it really my throat? Or is that what was being worked on the last thing? And it's really something else. And I'm just not, I can go around in circles all the time. So Becky, let's look at yours. Blocks to hearing a tone. Your third eye lights up right up here. Your third eye lights up, but also your throat and your sternum. So, yeah, that. It's a lot. Guys, you're a really big, big service. You've done a lot here on the planet. Jill. Yep, in your stomach. I see a lot of it, Jill, at the top, but I also see down at the bottom as well. So, yeah. Yes. So, Jill, I'm happy to help you with that. We're going to turn your channels back in as well, Jill. They sort of slipped out. You start, you start scanning everybody else, and you are going to feel it in your stomach for sure. So let's see. I love this point that they talk about perfected, and they say Paul hears the word perfected. And he wonders what we mean because he has weighted the idea of perfection as meaning certain things. Unblemished, not a pimple, untarnished, not a dark thought. And they go on to say what perfection is God itself in presence and being, because God is perfect. And then we have this way of saying, so somebody's got their audio on. I love that. Let me see. Ah, there we go. Thanks. It's fabulous. There we go. Excellent. So they talk about, we have this idea that perfection is beauty and intelligence, that there's some reason for that. That's what it is. That's what perfection is. And it says, the one who is intelligent has more value than the one who is not. But perhaps the one who is not holds other gifts that are being claimed and are of great benefit to all those that surround her. So we have this habit of going like, oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's so together. Oh, she's so intelligent. Oh my gosh, they're just the nicest people in the world. And each and every one of them can be those things. And we want to remind ourselves that the reason why they are those things is because that's what their agreement is. That's what they're here to do. I get when people think that I am a great teacher, that I am really good at deciphering this stuff. And I appreciate the compliment, and I understand the reason why it comes to me in the way it does is because I'm meant to be here to help you all understand it. And each and every one of you has your own gifts that you bring to me. Particularly those of you that text me, like when you're struggling, I get such great healings and epiphanies, awarenesses from that. So each of you have your own thing that you do, either for me or for all those around you. And they are talking about that. Like, perfection does not mean unsullied or unsinned. It actually means source, because source is the only one that's perfect. So they go in and talk about sin. If we understood sin is simply the denial of the divine, then we find it a little easier to move through these teachings, because we're just keep reminding ourselves where we think we're separate, where we think that God is out there and we're over here, Yeah, big healings for us on all of that. And Jenna and anybody else who goes, oh, I feel really bad texting you guys, don't. It is fabulous when you text, when you ask for help, and it gives us an opportunity to get healings. We get healings. It could be because I have gotten healings on, oh my God, I'm so busy, I haven't gotten back to them. Or, oh my God, I need a healing on what to say to them because I don't know what the answer is. Or, oh my goodness, one more text. Wow. It's just such an awesome healing. And all of them are perfect. It's perfect, perfect, perfect. Fabulous. So, as we've been talking, we are busy clearing more karma and agreements for everybody. That is always a fabulous thing. They actually talk about karma. How awesome is it? Bottom of page 49. Here's what karma is, according to the guides. Historical data that has been accrued in the field at the level of the soul, that the soul is seeking to work through. And the opportunity to do this is a life lived. We teach it in Mastery that karma is simply an experience. It is an opportunity to get the teachings and the healings available on whatever experience you have. That is exactly what they're saying here. They just say it a little more fancy. In other words, there is historical data that has been accrued in the field at the level of soul that the soul is seeking to work through, right? The healings and the teachings, and the opportunity to do this is a life lived. So, clearing old agreements. And when I was looking at the container at this program, I was seeing storehouses of old data. Some of them looked like just big warehouses of tapes and movies and, reel to reel and all that kind of stuff. There's lots of different ways you may see it. You can ask your higher self what exactly that looks like, but know that we have been working on those storehouses of old data, the things that you've held on to for so long that you're like, wow, I can't believe I still have that information in me. I can remember that stuff. And one of the things that I've discovered, it's not a function of age, it is a function of healing, is that the more I heal, the less I am worked up about the details of things that have happened in my past, because I start healing it. And it goes, it doesn't matter. whatever it was, whatever triggered me, whatever pissed me off, whatever caused me to stop talking to that person, or healing more of it so that, I can clear karma, so that I can go up in frequency. I'm not being held down by that. They do talk about in times to come, there will be people who are born without karma, which totally makes sense because we are heading towards eventually an enlightened planet. An enlightened planet means you have no karma. Okay. We are going to do this. Alignment and tone. Yep, we're clearing attachments as well for everybody. Attachments are those places that you've held on to things that you're like, no, I need this. No, I have to hold on to this because if I don't have this, I don't know who I am. Let's see. Here we go. You ready? If you can, we're going to do this exercise that is in day 3. So they do tell us, now when choice is made, let's go back. The divine self is important to understand. You are not creating this, nor are you deciding what should be. You are actually seeing what has always been. Let me go back. Everything is of God. We're used to being in a museum. We're used to having everything be set up just so. And when something is made new, in most ways, it is simply unveiled in its resplendency. As we're talking about this, we're moving more veils. Imagine a statue, a marble statue, buried at the bottom of the sea. It is covered with barnacles, hidden by seaweed, buried under rock and water. When the statue is exhumed, it can be revealed. When the barnacles are removed, when it is left to sit in the sun and claim its luster that has always been there but had been denied, you can understand the act you are engaging in and what is occurring in this act of re-knowing all through the divine self. Get that part? We're like those statues that have been covered in barnacles and hidden by seaweed. Now, all through the divine self is important to understand. You are not creating this, nor are you deciding what should be. You are actually seeing what has always been, that the dirty lens has obscured. You're actually experiencing what you have always known in a remembered state, and knowing that it can only be, and everything beyond that was an idea. The choice to do this, made at a soul level, requires the agreement of the personality structure. Woohoo, everybody listening. This is where will is handy. Am I willing to go on the adventure? Indeed I am. Am I willing to know anew? Indeed I am. I agree to this journey. I agree to this benefit. I agree to this act of choice. Whoa. Lots of downloads coming in. It is really warm here. Holy cow. Am I willing to go on this adventure? Indeed I am. Am I willing to know anew? Indeed I am. I agree to this journey. I agree to this benefit. I agree to this act of choice. Now, when choice is made, all things come present to support the choice. You have said yes. So everything is coming up to support your choice. When you say yes, you actually reclaim the ability to enact the choice that has always been yours, but has been denied. Not denied by intention, but denied by a belief that it could not be so. Not for anyone. It is true for everyone. This is not a teaching only for the anointed. While we give you language that may appeal to some, the song that is sung through your resonant field will indeed be heard by all. And as the song is heard, their energetic bodies go into recollection or remembrance and agreement to their own potential. Hear me now. Nothing can be claimed until it's first a possibility. Nothing can be claimed unless it's first a possibility. The potential is being offered here. You have said yes, so we'd like to escort you now on a very small journey. Everybody ready? If you can, imagine for a moment that you sit alone in a room. There are 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor. Everything that exists outside those walls and ceiling and floor are simply possibilities. What you contain in your room or your reality is what you say can be there. The view out the window, the feeling of the floorboards, the height of the ceiling. You are limited by the structure you inhabit. Now, the structure that you inhabit is not only physical, it is mental, and it is physical only in vibration, because everything that is known in physical form is merely vibration in a solidified state. The realization that you are no longer contained by the structure you have known is what we wish to take you through now. On this day, I allow myself to be known without the limited structures that have codified my experience. On this day, I allow the expansion of my being to overwhelm the structures that I have erected and move me beyond the limited sense of self and expansion that I have known thus far. And as I say yes to this, I give permission to the walls that were created with my agreement to be moved to a new agreement. I am one with the source of all things. I am one with the source of all things. I am one with the source of all things. And you allow the walls and the ceiling and the floor to evaporate, to be restored to the ethers or the energy that first created them. A wall is a thought. A floor is a thought. A room is a thought that has been concretized through collective agreement. Now, the expansion of the energetic bodies is actually not limited by you. When you allow the divine self or the light that you truly are to fill you in that room and what exists beyond that room, you can begin to have an experience of the vastness of being and understand that everything your field touches, which is all that can be imagined, is actually restored or removed to union through your claim. Imagine you are a light in a darkened room, and your light fills the darkened room, and then moves the darkened room to a vast field. And in this vast field, this light is unhindered, and it escalates, and everything it touches, it is singing to, it is aligning with and reclaiming as of itself. Because God is all things, God claiming itself through you in a reclamated state reclaims all things that it encounters. It is God claiming itself. It is not you making something holy. It is what is already holy being reknown in its truthful state. It is what is already holy being reknown in its truthful state. You are already everything you ever wanted to be. And you've always been that. But we have been those statues buried at the bottom of the ocean, covered in muck and mud and God knows who knows God what else. God knows what else. Okay, y'all get that. And as we're being pulled up out of the water, things are being transformed. We're losing things. You know, some of those barnacles, to stay with that thought, we're really attached to them. But those barnacles have protected me. But that algae has been food for fish. But I don't want to be clean and clear and have access to all my information. It's scary up there. What if the sun burns me? What if somebody laughs because I still have barnacles on me? Can you get that idea that there are lots of reasons why we are going through exactly what we're going through at this time on the planet? It's a little scary. And in reality, as we continue to clean up what is there, as we continue to move the fear, the pain, the anger, whatever it is that is showing up, we start shining really brightly and others start going, yes, I want to be pulled up, to the surface. I want to be cleaned. I want to be able to see what is possible when I'm not covered in all of this stuff. I want to feed the fish in a different way. So, everybody take a look where you have some masks, some veils, some valences that are making you believe that you can't be pulled up out of the depths of the sea and transformed into something that's just magical and beautiful. Where are those masks? Where are those valences? And you can have valences and masks and veils everywhere. Everywhere. Yep, Terry, yours is like, how I see yours, Terry, is like you went fold this over this way and fold this way and fold it around this way and it's like really your sternum was really wrapped, like really carefully. I just love my sternum and I just want to protect it. And yeah, I've got a matching one. Jill, right foot. Awesome. Yeah, Jadeline, you're welcome to join the sternum party. It is sure a party for sure. For sure, for sure. So there are magic wands coming in for all of us. A lot of these wands, your higher self will decide where to put the wand. But there's a lot of the frequency of magic in the wands help us transform more of that atheist energy. Just as it's radiating up to my knee as well. Yep. It's actually, Jill, your entire leg. And up actually into your hip as well. So we're going to get all that. You're not stuck with any of that. So, there is a lot going on this week. The moon is going to transform a lot. There's a new frequency coming in. The frequency of victory is coming in, and it's actually a mix of purple and blue and gold and silver energies, and it's just an indication of how powerful everything is for all of us, and how much love and support that we have. If you think of that frequency of victory being like, oh my gosh, the victory, back to the statues and the barnacles and things like that, like the victory frequency is like, oh, the victory frequency is going to help us move some of the stains that have been on our statues, and it's going to be amazing. We're not going to have to scrub as hard. You may hear me reference this analogy again and again and again, because, oh my gosh, it's just so apt for what we're going through. But that's what we're up to, right? And as the moon frequencies continue, they're just transforming the stuff that you don't want anyway. If you have some pain and some fear that is showing up, please feel free to text me, because that is perfect and I'm happy to help you with it. But also remind yourself, there's nothing here I want to keep. There's nothing here I want to keep. Anything that's leaving like this is just huge blessings, and let it go, let it go, let it go for the rest of the week. And then we'll party on the astral Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, for sure. So, so next time we get together is actually the 30th and the 31st of March. Really funny, because we didn't have that in February, since there's no 30 or 31 there. What we're going to be reading from is the Book of Innocence, and we're going to be reading day 8, and day 8 actually starts on page 102, and it goes over to page 109, and I just think it's really cool. Listen to this. On this night, I claim that all I have known in limitation will be made new. That I give permission to move beyond the borders of consciousness that I have inherited or erected. Is that not perfect? Like, oh my gosh, it really trips me out that this shows up the way it does. But we're going to be working in the Book of Innocence. If you are on social media, pop over to Facebook. I really am, hoping every day to put a post about the reading, so that you have like a little bit. Don't always get there. Feel free to pop over there and read it. And if you're not on social media, join me over on WhatsApp. And then I do want to let you know, if any of you are interested, and I know Terry and Jill are interested. I am really interested in reading this book and having a group go through and read the book together. And nothing has been set up yet. I'm still trying to get that information of when we're going to do it, if we're going to do it in person, if we're going to do it by text message or something. But if this is something that you're interested in, send me a message, let me know, because I would love to include you in it. This book has just been really super cool. So let me know. Let's see, we have one more gift for everybody. It is a chalice. It is a goblet. It is a cup. You might see it in any way your higher self might show it to you. You might have a mug. I see you, gentlemen, so I will write that down. Whatever your chalice looks like, you can ask what color is it. You can ask about what is inside of it. You can ask what to do with it. You might be like, okay, I have my, chalice. Am I putting it in my throat? Am I putting it in my frontal lobe, which is what is showing up for me? You can ask questions about it. You might get a color, you might get numbers. It is perfect however it shows up. I was the person who was constantly getting references to Disney, so you can't be too weird for me. Not at all. So my chalice is gold and purple. It's a lot of those victory frequencies that are coming in. So, yeah, I'm putting my chalice in my frontal lobe. And yeah, Trisha, what if divine union shows up for you? Great. There's a lot of them. So you just check in about what one works for you. Yeah, there's a lot of them, and they're all really good. I loved A World Made New. I loved The Kingdom. I loved Book of Mastery. So all good, all good. So let's see, all those chalices. So there's some chalices that have a lot of red in them. There's ones that have that orangey red of whatever frequency just came in recently. There's some that have a lot of that expression frequency in them, celebration, triumph. That's the orangey red one that just came in, triumph. A lot of those, they're going to do you good wherever you put them. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I am so grateful for all of you and how you show up and how you are, just keep saying yes. You are the presence in being, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you give yourself a break or not. So just keep trusting. All right. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and seal the field unto the light of that one true source, creator God, the one who is all the magic, all the joy, all the love, all does. So I want to thank my healing team and the support teams. And I want to thank each and every one of you who go, yeah, I want to spend an hour talking about healing and seeing what more I can move out of my body. I love and appreciate you. If there's anything at all that you need this week, just text me. Send me a message through Facebook. Send me a message, whatever shows up. I absolutely love, love, love all of you. Mwah. With that, I say amen and aho. Have a fabulous week, guys. Absolutely. Love you guys.